Well, hello everyone.
Wow.
Hello to all 10 of you who are here with us right
Wow.
now. Um
Wow.
do I make an announcement in the Discord or
You can.
I don't hold on.
I see Jamie typing in the videos and live
Okay,
streams channel.
Jamie's doing it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jamie. We appreciate you, Jamie.
Our fearless
Um
mods always doing the most.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. It's my turn to teach and Karina is here and we're drawing animals today.
Animals.
Just like this. You'll be able to draw animals just as good as this
Wow, wow,
by the time we're
wow.
done today. Um gonna take a sec and vamp for a little minute while people filter in. But we can sort of just talk about animals and what makes drawing animals different than drawing, say, people. And I would argue that drawing animals is more forgiving. You can be more creative, you can take more liberties because animals have, just by their nature, more variety to them. And also, unless, with the exception of doing technical scientific illustration, um you the if you miss a proportion, if you're off, it's not as noticeable as if you
Hmm.
make a disproportioned human, just because we look at animals less frequently than we look at people. um, so I guess this class is going to be about giving you some tools to practice drawing animals. We'll probably be building on a lot of the stuff that we talked about on Jacob's how to practice drawing effectively stream, but with a specific bent towards drawing animals. And then I'm going to try and do a little bit of like basic structure and proportions uh, type stuff just to give
Hmm.
you like a framework of, so you can draw your own animals, and then maybe we can talk about like, mythical animals and combining elements of
Ooh.
animals to make your own make 'em up animals, um, and possibly like abstraction, simplification, cartoonizing, stylizing. I think we'll sort of go whatever direction people are interested in,
Yeah.
because this is for you. Um, this is for y'all, you lovely patrons of ours. Thank you as
Thank
always for your
you.
support. We really do appreciate it, and I hope that you get something out of this. So I am gonna get us started here with just a little. I thought we could start with just a little warm up, some warm up drawings. We're gonna go to that line of action website that we used on the last draw class with Jacob, and specifically use their animals drawing, um, like their animals reference that they have.
Nice.
And I figure we could just start with mammals because that's easier. And we can talk about like birds and reptiles and invertebrates later on. But I think mammals is sort of that's your bread and butter animal. That's your like your cats, your dogs, your horses.
Yeah.
Um, And we'll include skeletons because I tried this a couple times. I haven't gotten any skeletons, but it'll be cool to see if we do get a skeleton to like talk about that, because that animal skeletons look so wild compared to just regular. And I thought we can just warm up with some 30-second gesture drawings of these animals. And I'll do a little refresher. Again, this is something that Jacob talked about with regards to figure drawing people on the last draw class, but well, let's just see what we get for our first one.
Squirrel.
So let's I'm just gonna pause it on this squirrel, and then I'm gonna do the exact same thing that Jacob did, which was take a little screen cap of this. And so just so that if you've never done gesture drawing before, can give you like a little bit of a guide as to what we're sort of looking for before we hop into it, because it can be overwhelming, and that's the opposite of the point. The point is to like loosen up and just sort of get your brain thinking about like looking at in this instance animals, looking at, you know, your subject matter from the perspective of trying to draw it.
Yeah.
Which like sounds simple, but sometimes it can be, you can overcomplicate it in your mind. So here's our little squirrel friend. And so just gonna what we're looking for is sort of like direction and structure. So like I would probably start by just drawing this sort of spine shape, this sort of arc that it has, and then I would probably draw this sort of like torso, and then this haunch and the head. And so that these sort of like circles to get us started, and then you can, you know, get these get the legs in, and so like, yeah, basically, you know, you're looking for like direction and shape. And I think I'll just draw in red for these, because these are going to be very quick, little 30-second guys. And yeah, you're basically just like, this is just a warm up. This is just to get y'all loose and thinking about animals. And
I'm excited to do 30-second drawings.
Yeah, and just like, it doesn't have to be good. It shouldn't be good. You shouldn't be precious with these. These are just for you. These are just warm ups. Yeah. So let's just do that. So I'm just gonna hit play, and yeah. So squirrel again. We've got head, this sort of shape. We've got this haunch. We've got this torso. And then this sort of snouty looking bit, eye, ears, and then hand, little feet, tail, and it's gone. And we got a little mousy, sort of little face going up like that. It's sort of hunched over like that. It's got its little front part.
Mouse in perspective.
Mouse in perspective, yeah. Little feetsies. Again, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just sort of looking at the way animals' bodies move.
Cat.
And we're at a cat.
Yeah.
Cat, very regal cat.
Yeah.
Its back legs are up on a ledge, and its front legs are coming down. Let's look looking right at us.
Oh,
Ooh,
hello.
couple lions.
Ah.
You can pick one. Pick one to do. I'm gonna do
Hard mode both.
Yeah, do both, yeah. Yeah, lions are cats, so they've got similar type. Got this sort of thing. It's like got its leg coming out like that. Paws up. Tail. Elephant!
There you go.
They've got like these. This trunk coming up, wrapping around, big ears.
Oh god, this is hard. Elephant hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, that's the thing about animals, is that like they're all shaped different.
Yeah.
Head, that, so looking this way is
good shape.
it's a good shape. I might actually screen cap this one too, because this is like a perfect this is a perfect dog. Hold on, let me pause it. Nope, go back. All right, I'm gonna screen cap this dog because I wanna talk about it.
Thank God. I love the shape of this dog, but I totally did not get it.
Well, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just a little warm up to get us loose, to get us thinking about animals and their shapes and their stuff. But let's talk about this dog bod for a sec. And yeah, Karina, let me know if anybody's got any questions, if I'm glossing over stuff, if people want me to talk about anything.
Because I was really into those 30-second drawings.
It's fun. It's fun to draw animals. Like, this is like when people, and I do appreciate it when people like say, wow, Nathan's just like so good at drawing animals. It's because that's like what I did. Like, that's what I learned to draw doing.
Yeah.
It's just like drawing animals.
And it's true. You're really good at drawing them.
I wanted to, and that's gonna come with, oh, I got my little mouse in there. Right. So let's talk about this dog. Let's break down the dog body. Sort of similar to how Julia broke down the human body, because
yeah,
there are similarities. There's similarities and differences, and the dog is sort of like a nice catch-all for a lot of similar mammals. Basically, the way I like to think about it is in terms of like the skeleton. So it's got you've got the skull here, and then you've got this sort of, so it's like circle for dog face. It's like circle and then sort of trapezoid for the nose, and then you've got this sort of rib cage zone here. You've got this pelvis zone here, and you've got the spine, and then their shoulders are up here, and then this is basically, you know, they're front legs and back legs, but they're very similar to arms and legs in that you've got sort of an elbow and like a wrist, and you can see that like that's where they bend. And then you've got the little feet here. And then, so you've got sort of the back leg, you've got knee, ankle, feet. And so that's, you know, that's a pretty basic way of thinking about it in terms of just like structure.
Yeah.
And with that, you can sort of you know, extrapolate different shaped dogs. Like, for example, if you wanted to draw like a little wiener dog, you have the same sort of structure, but like you basically just shorten everything. So you've got these like little feets. And that's sort of what I was talking about with like it's much more forgiving to draw animals because you could just be like, well, it's a kind of animal that looks like this. You know?
Yeah.
It's like if you get the proportions a little off, it's just, well, it's just a different one. little floppy ears instead. And then, you know, there's muscle and fat and fur, and so you get these like sort of haunch shapes coming out. And yeah, like I don't know the names of the bones. You can look it up. Like there are, if you just Google like skeletal anatomy of any animal, you can find an image. I didn't feel comfortable like taking those images and using them here because I don't own them, but you can do it. Oh, dog. Like that. So, you know, and then to follow the Jacob method of practice, we've done it with tracing, but now let's try and replicate it just freehand. So we've got, let's use our first one with the longer legs. And let's see if we can, you know, extrapolate, make a dog in sort of a different position using this structure. So we have, you know, ribs, pelvis. Maybe this dog's looking straight ahead. Like that.
Ooh.
Got the spine, tail, and then got these legs, a little knee, ankle, feet, shoulder, elbow. And the interesting thing about, and so like the dog, I'm gonna call it the wrist. I don't think that's maybe accurate, but like from an artist's perspective, it's fine. You can think of it like a wrist because, you know, dogs, they can bend it this way or this way, and they do it this way when they've like got their paws up like this, but then when they're just using it to support weight, it oftentimes will bend back that way, like that, just like a wrist would. We can actually, you know, make adjustments because it's actually, when it's standing, you want to think about like balance. Like, does it look like the thing I'm drawing is about to fall over? If so, make some adjustments. So I think the knee actually goes back a little bit further here. It's more like this. There. Yeah. Like that. And I can even, let's put this paw like up, and then we can get the wrist bending the other way on this one. He's gonna do shake.
Aww.
That's a dog.
Yeah.
So it sort of works. It's like,
it does work.
does that make sense? Is that like, that's one way to think about drawing animals is to
Yeah.
think
I will
about
say,
the structure. Yeah.
personally, a lot of my basis for animal drawings comes from this random book I picked up at a gift shop when I was a kid and we were on vacation somewhere. And this is basically it. It was the basic key was like circle for the rib cage area, circle for the pelvic area, and then just connect them with the spine
Yeah.
and figure it out from there. I'm like, yeah, it's the same thing. That was right all along.
Yeah. And I mean that sort of goes to my this isn't mine, but like a method that I just think of when drawing, it works for people and animals, is the bean method, breaking things
Yeah.
into beans, which is just, yeah, pelvis. For people, it's, pelvis,
Yeah.
chest, or torso, and then, the spine. And
When
that's,
we've grown too powerful to no longer need the circles, we just condense it into bean.
yeah, and then it becomes a bean. And then you get like, you can make poses from that. But it works the same for animals. You just have to put the bean sideways. So pelvis, torso, rib cage, whatever you want to call it, and then you can have the head going this ways, and then you've got, once you have sort of an idea of like where everything goes and how it moves, you can then pose it out
Yeah.
however you want. And you get your little animal. And this could be, maybe this is like a wolf.
Ooh.
Yeah. But like that's the sort of like canine, like the sort of mammalian carnivore build is basically this structure. So like it's similar for cats as well. Cats are more flexible than dogs, so you can bend them into more shapes.
Yeah.
I prepared some ahead of time, some like anatomy breakdown. So like here's the dog we were talking about. There's a cat.
Ooh.
And then like horse is a little different.
Oh God, my enemy.
So we can talk about the horse, which again, like it's the same. You've got the rib cage, pelvis, head.
Yeah.
It's just and then it's just these bits are a little, so like the horse shoulder is like out here in front. That's like what makes this shape. And then the elbow, like the equivalent of the elbow, is actually pretty close to that. And then the wrist is here, and that and then here we have like hand and finger is so like
that's what I always forget about horses.
they're running
the
on
legs.
their tippy toes.
Ah.
And so there's an extra step involved. Thank you for complimenting the horse. I had reference. But yeah, like,
but it's still really good. I feel like horses are especially difficult because they're so muscular.
Right. They're muscular until they're not. Like some parts are like real muscular, and like these,
I feel like it never really
muscular.
occurred to me that the shoulder was where it is in your diagram, like that far ahead, because I just look at a horse and I feel fear.
Yeah.
So I never really realized that that's how the leg starts.
And then if you actually like pull up a horse skeleton, you'll see that like down here it's almost like skin tight on the skeleton. Like the
Yeah.
skeleton is like pushing, like that's why you get these like knobbly bits. Like that's bone. That and then yeah, so like they're just made for running. They're just like they just run about. Another thing, another like distinction between we're still talking about mammals here.
Yeah.
But like something to think about when drawing animal faces is just sort of like evolution and the purpose of, you know, the parts of the face. So like dogs and cats and carnivores, their eyes are on the front. They're faced forward. Because they need depth perception. They're like, you know, they evolved to hunt. So you need two things looking at the same place in order to see depth. So you have the two sources of information meeting in the brain to like give you that depth information. Whereas herbivores like deer and horses and cows and stuff, they don't care about depth. They're not hunting anything. The grass isn't, you know, if they're off by a few inches, they're still going to hit the grass that they're going to eat. But what is important is not getting eaten. So their eyes are on the sides of their heads. So they don't have great depth perception, but they have way more range of peripheral vision for seeing predators, because they don't need to know exactly how far away something is. They just need to know to run away from it. They need to know it's coming, and they need to know to run away. So like a little deer, make this a little deer. Because peripheral vision, your periphery is where you are most sensitive to movement. It's what they teach you when you learn to be a lifeguard. That's why you're always scanning the pool, because you're trying to get as much in your periphery as possible. Because like if something moves, you'll be able to like focus on it. And so herbivore mammals, for the most part, their eyes are going to be on the sides of their head, because that maximizes their ability to like sense danger. That makes sense.
It does.
So
that's science.
That's just like you know, they're not as interested in you know, fully conceiving of the predator. They're just like, where is it? Okay, I'm running the opposite way.
Yeah.
Okay. So where does that leave us? It's only been a half hour.
Are you just breezing through this? Do you need more material?
Maybe. I don't know. Like,
I will just
do people have questions?
Yeah.
Like, if
you have any questions, feel free.
Yeah.
I do glance at the chat. I will say that one thing I find really difficult with drawing animals is the variety of head shapes.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, for example, for Hawkeye PI, sometimes I'm like, this dog is a greyhound. Surely I can make it look like that. But then I just struggle because it looks so different from like another dog's skull, because they have a lot more, like, the brow is really flat, I guess. So that's just one thing I always found really challenging, is that there's so much variety if you're going for specifics.
Definitely. And I think, like, honestly, the best way to deal with that is like to know that there isn't sort of a one size fits all, and that like reference is your friend. Like we could even go back and do some more timed animal drawings, and maybe increase the time, and instead of doing gesture drawing, we can do contour, because contour it's a little different. You're thinking less about like really quick getting the structure, and more it's more just like following the outline.
That is an option. I'm looking at chat right now. People are asking about the breakdown for birds and other winged animals, like bats.
let's do that. Let me
And
just.
also a punch frog saying, I was going to ask about eyes if I could.
Okay,
What about
let's
them?
do wings.
Yeah.
Let's go back and just I'm just gonna go back and get and do birds from this website. I feel like this website is like designed for reference, so
Yeah.
it's okay. Like I feel weird just like Googling. You can always Google, but like I'm just gonna pull from this website. We're doing birds, and I'm just gonna scan through until we find like a good example
Chicken,
of.
turkey.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, here we go. That's a nice. That's a nice one.
Ooh. Oh, that is a good wing shot.
Yeah, it's a good wing shot.
You
So
can see the
let's.
bones.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. And again, like an actual animal scientist will be able to tell you the the science, you know, the scientific names for
Yeah.
all the different.
I mean, in general, when it comes to anatomy, be it with humans or with animals, there is like a lot of scientific stuff behind it, but you don't
Right.
really need to know the science. You
Yeah.
just need to know
The
the
more
structure.
the more of the science you do know, the more it'll make sense, but it's definitely like, you know, I'm a science idiot. I just like to draw the aminals. So
Yeah.
let's talk about bird. Let's talk about bird shape.
Wow.
Um so again, we've got head, body, pelvis, I guess. There's sort of these birds are a little trickier, but like basically, you know,
I
they're
remember the last time I've looked at a bird
yeah,
skeleton.
they're hollow. They're mostly nothing. They have to be very light in order to fly. So their bones are hollow. They're very small. This is mostly just like plumage um and like muscle. Um, but yeah, so like the actual bone part of the wing is like just just this, I think. So like that's instead of arms, they got these wings and they've got little like joints in there, I think. Something similar, something like this. This is like my approximation of it, that they've got like same idea, like elbow, wrist, and then like
Yeah.
fingies. And so like the wings come out from the shoulder area, and you've got these sort of big feathers around the edge that form this sort of fan shape. Um, and they're pretty big, and then inside there are these smaller feathers. And it's basically like, you know, to simplify it even more, it really is this like this sort of like fan
Yeah.
shape. They're trying to um
It really is just kind of like an arm holding.
it's like an arm. It's like, imagine they're like holding like a cape.
Yeah.
And if you were to like have your, you know, your little fist grabbing the cape, and like
Yeah.
the shape it makes coming out.
They make
'Cause
costumes like this.
yeah, and
It's basically like that.
um and again, like different birds wings are different, uh different amounts of like poofy. Like I know there are some like hawk type birds that have very sort of like pointy wings. Like they sort of come out like this, and they're like they're very, very sharp looking.
Yeah.
Because they need to be able to go real fast. But it's this sort of like curve. It's more straight on the top because that's where the bone is, and then it's sort of curved on the underside. Is how I would. That's how I typically approach drawing the wing, is like, because the feathers, like the you know, they're able to fold up, and so when they're like out like that, they're like fully splayed, and they sort of form this. I keep saying fan, but that's like, it's the same idea, is like, you know, it's a bunch of little pieces that can fold up, but then when they're extended, they form this solid shape that's able to interact.
Would you say for like
with the wings.
Posing wings that are folded, you would essentially treat it like an arm, and then the feathers just follow?
Yeah. So yeah, when it's folded up.
That's the way that I've like taught myself to draw wings, and I'm kind of comparing it of just like,
so like, you know,
it is like a shoulder, forearm, or like shoulder, upper arm, like,
sort of like
elbow,
shoulder,
lower
elbow,
arm,
yeah, sort
and then
of like
the
this.
last segment is like a hand.
Yeah.
Is that weird? Is that accurate?
I think that's right. Yeah, like if you ever look at just like a bird skeleton, they're sort of, they look like pterodactyls.
Yeah,
they've just
because
got,
I
like,
know with like
then...
bats, that's pretty directly like their hands. I think.
It's actually like, you can see their like their face. So for bats, it's they're like, it's like they're like hands. Like this is their. Is that how it is for bats? Hold on, let me look up a bat.
Unless I'm wrong,
bat
but
wing images. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, they're giving you a thumbs up. They've got like their thumb here, and then it's like pointer finger, middle finger, and then they've got this like membrane going between them all.
Yeah.
And then it's actually more like, and then you can see the elbow there. It sort of comes in like that. That's sort of it.
Yeah.
And they go like, heh, heh, heh.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I guess wings are kind of like arms.
Wings are like arms. You can think about them like arms.
Yeah. You have to pay attention to the structure for each individual species, but I've always thought of them like arms. So
bird torso are also shaped like fruit. They are.
Mango.
Ooh, drawing fur. Okay.
Yeah. I think the list of things people would like are paws, eyes, fur.
Okay, great.
In whatever order you'd like, sir.
We can talk about paws. We can take a pause and talk about paws.
Yeah. That one is, any thoughts on drawing good paws? I draw cat and dog paws the same, and I know that's wrong.
It is, but I also do that.
Yeah.
Because like when
they got beans.
They got little beans. So like when I'm drawing the paws, again, we've got like the sort of leg shape, elbow, wrist, paw. So like it's sort of this like trapezoid shape down here, and like there's the little dew claw zone back here that a lot of them have. And then like when I'm just like drawing, typically I'll just like put some lines and be like, that's a paw.
Yeah.
I know they've got like, it should be 4. And then from like the bottom, like you can look up like, sorry, I'm just like this is actually how I draw animals. For like, I have a lot of just sort of
Knowledge.
baked in knowledge from practice. So like my first piece of advice is always practice, look at reference and practice. But then like if you're trying to draw something specific,
Yeah.
search, look up reference. So paw. Just gonna look up paw.
Wow.
So you everybody knows the Blue's Clue like sort of paw print shape. And so this is, from the bottom, you got the beans. So this is sort of what your bottom of the paw looks like, and then it's typically just like covered in fur. And so now, oh, that's cute. And the thing to know about like cats, they've got the retractable claws, whereas dogs do not. So that's something to keep in mind. Like dogs, unless you like clip their nails, are gonna have, if you're drawing like a more if you're drawing a more detailed drawing, the dogs are gonna have little claws on them, whereas the cats, when they're just sort of walking around, it's not going to be visible until they like take them out to do swipey.
Yeah.
And then bears actually have like a fifth one. Like their, I guess their dew claw is, or do they also have a dew claw? I don't know. Bears are like, they've got like,
Yeah.
this is like a bear.
Yeah, I know theirs are like longer.
Yeah, they're like longer, and yeah. So but basically, like, keep in mind the beans. It all comes back to beans. It's beans all the way down. And so
People care the most about seeing the beans. I know I personally do.
So but if you can't see the beans, you need to at least think about the beans. So like know the beans are there, and then like make the shape that would, you can imagine the beans inside, and then be like, okay, so it's like little nubbins. Like that's how I draw paws typically, like just sort of like that. And then you don't.
Oh, so this
I'm
is
just imagining
my own opinion, but when it comes to differentiating between like cat, dog, etc., I feel like if you get it kind of close enough that it reads as a paw, most people won't care.
Right. That again, that comes back to sort of the main thesis of this class, which is that like animal drawing is like more open to interpretation. Like people are not going to notice mistakes as readily. There's just more variety among animals. There aren't sort of hard and fast rules the same way there are with like drawing people, which again, there are a variety among people. Not everyone has the exact same proportions, but like we spend a lot of time looking at people, we can more easily tell if like someone's eyes are very far apart, or like too high up on the face, or like in your drawing, like there are certain pretty easy to recognize things you can do that like will make it the difference between like sort of an amateurish approach versus a more seasoned approach. Whereas with animals, like you can really you can let loose a little, you can play around, you can give. And that's another thing, like like say you're drawing like a puppy, like all their proportions are going to be different, because like puppies are like so little, but they got these like big old paws.
So
Their paws are
big.
huge compared to them, so you can sort of have fun with that, give them a little Well, let's see. Wrist is here, and then Elvis. And so, like, you can also, this is something that I picked up from watching Caldwell draw, but like, especially when you're like cartooning, just like giving your drawings bigger feet than they need just makes them look more balanced. When in doubt, you can always just simplify and just like sort of go wide
That's
feet.
true.
It's like,
that's smart.
It's not gonna look bad if you just give something big feet. That's sort of the Kingdom Hearts approach. But like, give it some like chonky little feet. It looks like, it looks pretty good.
Aww.
Yeah, just like little ones like that. Yeah. Eyes. Did that answer the pause question? It's like basically, yeah, like there's sort of like a shortcut answer, sort of like a way of thinking about it in terms of structure, and then there's the specific answer, which is like for whatever type of animal you're trying to draw, you could probably find a reference image and like get more specific with that. But like, paw,
I feel like a lot of like questions that people have about very specific things may just be a matter of looking up reference, because there's so many different species of animals and like types and subspecies.
Yeah, it's like this.
So
it's this
but we'll take a crack at it anyway.
Yeah, it's I think there's there are shortcuts, and then and just sort of like ways of thinking about like simplifying and abstracting, specifically if you're like coming at it from a cartoonist perspective. It's still helpful to just like practice and look at reference, but I do want to provide some like guidance of like, when you're looking at reference, what are you looking for? You're sort of looking for this shape, which again, it fits into that structure that I told you about with like, ankle or wrist, and then, leg shape. And then, yeah, like these sort of little bits on it, these little nubbins, these beans. And then how furry, because like sometimes like a creature will be so furry that like you'll lose this sort of definition, and it'll just look like a sort of like fuzzy pole coming down.
Like with bears.
Like it just sort of looks like a big.
Bears are so weird looking.
Bears are great, but yeah, like you can cover the whole thing in fuzz.
Yeah.
But like that there's shapes in there, and that can help sort of define what you're making. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me.
Okay. Eyes, animal eyes. Well, let's just go back to the let's cycle through some of these images, and when we find one with like a nice eye, we can just sort of take a look at it. I went back too far. That's just the Google. That was just Google. Let's just do mammals again.
Love a good mammal.
And let's just try. They really want to hide
They're really
eyes.
Throwing all of the ones with no eyes.
Come on. That's kind of good.
Aww.
That's a little puppy. Let's look at this puppy's eyes. Puppy dog eyes. Doop. Okay. Sorry, I don't have a more streamlined way of getting the images into Photoshop, so you just have to watch me use the grab program and save.
I
and
think
then
you're doing great, Nathan.
Open it in Photoshop. Thank you, Karina. Thank you for being here with me, by the way.
Of course.
I do
I was
appreciate
going to
it.
watch this stream anyway, and now
Aw.
I get to be in the stream.
All right, so let's take a look.
I could hopefully learn how to draw an animal.
Let's take a look. So it's actually, it looks pretty similar to a human eye. If we let's get in there. Let's get in there, you know?
Yeah.
Let's get right in there.
Wow.
So we've got this sort of head, this dog head shape, the like trapezoid circle head. And then we're looking at this eye from the side. And so if you remember Julia's stream, or if you haven't seen Julia's stream, basically like the eye is a circle. Like the full eyeball is a ball inside in your skull. And we're only seeing like the bit that is visible. That's, you know, not covered by skin and fur and whatnot. So if we were looking at this from the front, it would be sort of this shape. More or less. I don't know exactly what dog eyes shape is. I feel like they're not quite as like olive shaped as human eyes. I could be mistaken.
And it also depends from breed to breed.
Right. Again, there's no hard and fast rule, but for this sort of eye shape, this sort of like psychic energy from Pokemon that we're looking at, you know, there's the ball. This is what's visible to us. Then you've got the iris and the pupil in there. So for this, we're looking at it from the side, so it forms this sort of triangle shape. Like if it were a human, the face is like fully flat, or like, you know, if this was a person's face, it would be like,
oh.
Yeah, this is some Animorphs now. But like it would just be like this. You know, you would just be able to see this triangle. For this dog, it looks like the eye is a little bit more out to the side, so it's not fully forward. Also, the head might be a little tilted, but like, so we still see a little bit of this inner bit here, and then we get the iris and the pupil, a little shine mark there. Let's see if we can find some more examples, because
Nope. No.
Oh, heyo.
Oh,
great eyes, fantastic eyes. Yeah, so sometimes the whole circle of the eye is just visible. Like,
Yeah.
they're just out there. And that's what's, again, like, there's no, drawing animals is just fun because like they're all doing their own thing. They all like
Yeah.
evolve to look
No rules. Evolution just
different.
shooting out any which way.
They're just trying stuff. They're just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. I love it. Eye animal. I don't even know. Is that a tarsier or
No,
it's like
but it's a primate.
It's a tarsier adjacent.
Yeah, because I know with tarsiers, the reason they have those incredibly large, or like their eyes are so big that they don't actually have eyelids that can fully cover them.
Wow.
Because they're just out all the time.
And this is a clearly like nocturnal looking animal. So like this is an eye for like an animal that has evolved to see in daylight. This is an eye for an animal that has clearly evolved to be able to see in the nighttime.
Big.
And again,
always open, light entering.
They're both on the front of the face. So this is like one of them animals what eats insects, I feel like, because again, they're on the front of the face. It's a predator. This is like an animal that is trying to catch something that is moving. And so, you know, we've got this sort of, again, mammalian animal shape. We've got the sort of rib cage, torso. It's doing like a real sort of bundle up. And then we've got like leg, and then this crazy. Look at these. Look at these hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I love fingers.
And these
I love
eyes,
a critter who condenses like this and has big eyes and fingers.
these eyes are just big. So like, I'm guessing that like the full eye is like
Yeah.
a little bit bigger. I actually don't know. I don't know enough about. But anyway, yeah.
There's too many animals.
Sometimes the eye is just a full circle. And
Yeah.
then it looks like the flash went off, so the pupils are real small. But like, if the flash had not gone off, my guess would be the pupils would be more dilated so that they could let in more light in the dark that they are living and hunting for bugs in. Did it catch a bug? What is that? What is this? Is that just part of the tree? Yeah, that's just part of the tree. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway. Or maybe it's... I can't even tell. I can't even tell at this point. So yeah, so like the eyes are... Oh god. Hello. I'm an animal. Don't worry about me. I'm just an animal.
Hello.
Hello.
It's me, nature's gift.
God. And then I want to find like a cat, because cats have cool eyes.
Yeah.
There's a cat, but you can't really see.
You should probably just like look up.
Okay, bunny eye. I don't even need to. Let's just take a. So it's like a bulgy eye. Like basically, again, like the eyeball is a circle, and what you're seeing on an animal is like how much of that circle is uncovered, is exposed. So bunny eyes fully
into the skull,
fully on the side of the face. That's a looking for danger eye, and so it's got a good amount of it exposed, not like a full circle, but like it's pretty. And this, it doesn't look like it has a white of the eye. It's like it's got like the iris, and then it's just sort of this like black animal.
Rabbits have like the
gunk.
bulgiest, darkest eyes.
Yeah.
Rabbits stress me out.
Yeah, they've got like, but you can see there is like a pupil. There's like a pupil in there, but it's just like very dark, the whole eye, like that. On the side of this bunny head. Yeah. It's got a little nose. Doing a little wiggle. So eyes are tricky. You gotta look. You gotta use your eyes to see what kind of eyes you're dealing with, because they all do different stuff. And then cat eyes, everyone knows that like when you got like a cat eye, sometimes they've just got like pupil, but they're the way their pupils dilate is they become little or undilate, is they become little slits. As opposed to like people's eyes, where the circle just gets smaller. The cat eye like shrinks this way.
Yeah.
So like this is like cartoon cat eye, but like you get the eye. You get the eye.
Hey.
Like, it's again, you're sort of trying to think about the function that it's serving.
Yeah.
So cats, predators, they've got big eyes on the right on the front of their face. They've evolved to see in the dark. They take in a lot of light. They can see really well. They're pretty big, and then they do the, it depends, if you want like real sort of spoopy cat, or if you want like real, like
Yeah.
not, you can.
Yeah. Because once you know how things like function and how they fit into like the real structure of things, that's when you can just shorthand it and then you know how to draw it. So I think, as with many things, it comes down to just looking at reference
Oh yeah.
and studying it.
They mentioned them square pupils that goats have.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna look up a goat. Just look up goat eye. Yeah. Yeah. So again, like, it's this, like, it's on the side of the head. Goats are wild. They've got these like sort of crazy head shape where like the eyes go out like blomp. They're like this. And they're just like bulging. And they like, so again, like there's this, you can extrapolate that like the circle, the full like sphere is there. And goats have like beautiful eyelashes too.
Yeah.
They just like, I don't know, their pupil goes like this. I don't know why.
It just do.
It just do, and it's unsettling. That's a goat.
Oh, I like goats.
Yeah, they're wild.
They're so silly.
They're crazy looking. Yeah, like when in doubt, I think look at the skeleton, look at like, look up the skeletal structure to like understand what you're looking at.
Yeah.
But then also you can just look at reference and be like, wow, that's nutty. Fur we talked about.
Yeah, I will say it is 4. I don't know if you had any other things like specifically planned for stuff
Not
to go over. So
okay, cool. We're at the hour mark, so we've got like another hour. I think that's great. Thank you for the time check. I think we're doing great on time.
awesome.
Fur. So let's just, we've got this bunny image up. Let's use that. So again, let's get
Bunnies are a lot of like fat and fur.
Yeah. So let's get this sort of bunny in here, this sort of head shape, just like that. It's in the grass, you can't even really see what its feet are doing, but they're like, they're doing similar stuff.
It's doing the exact type of pose you think a rabbit would.
Yeah. And so when we're talking about fur, it really comes down to like stylistic preference, I feel like. Like how scraggly you want something to look, how much you want to define the fur. Because like if I were painting this, you could really go into like detail with just like sort of the colors and the patterning. Made this bunny scary. Hold on. I put the head too far. Let me fix that. It's like looking more at us like this.
Rabbits are a little scary. I'm very biased against rabbits.
Do you ever read that Bunnicula?
I did. I loved that book as a kid.
Yeah, good.
But I've had to take care of rabbits for one of my cousins, and I don't know. I just feel like they're very high maintenance pets that I was not like prepared for, even temporarily. They're just so nervous.
Yeah, that's their whole thing. They have a lot of babies and they run away.
The life of a
Life of
rabbit.
a rabbit. There we go. Okay. So, fur. So like, basically, like there are different ways to sort of convey fur. Sort of the simplest one is just like little linies. Just do these little 2-line together and sort of follow the shape of the animal, because like fur goes in a direction typically. Like there's like a direction where it's flush with the creature. And yeah, you can just, just little linies. That's one way to do it. If you wanted to say like we want to make this rabbit look like one of them long hair bunnies.
Ooh.
You can sort of take that, you have this sort of base shape, but then the exterior, you just sort of add these little linies in.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you draw people and you draw them like kind of naked first before you put the clothes on, so you know how they fit and fall.
Right. Or yeah, and like with hair, so you can
Or with
of
hair, that makes a lot more sense.
well, it's the fur is like it's hair and clothes for animals. Is
Yeah,
what fur is.
it's multi-purpose.
So you can do that. You can have your sort of base sketch in, and then instead of having these smooth lines for the outline, you can really sort of like soften them up with these short strokes, and just like that, it looks way softer and more, hair, fuzzy, furry.
Yeah.
And different animals are going to have different sort of thickness of fur, length of fur, texture of fur. So like I'm just imagining this sort of horrible hairy bunny. And then
It's Bunnicula.
And then another thing you can think about, which is sort of something to think about when you're doing hair on people also, is value. There's not really a strong light source in this image, but like if there were, you can darken in the areas of fur that are in shadow and sort of indicate the form that way. You can use this sort of hatching shading method, and like this, so like this haunch is coming at us a little bit, so like if the light was coming from like here, these bits would be in shadow, but like there's still little bits of light hitting each strand of fur, so it's not going to be like one solid shadow shape. It's gonna,
Yeah.
and then also even the fur that's in the light is still going to be casting shadows, so like the light parts are still going to have a little bit of indication of shadow as well. And that's just, again, it's personal preference and style how much you want to abstract it versus like detail it in.
Yeah. Nathan, this looks nice.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was a little longer than what I drew, but...
Oh, wow. That really brought it together.
Yeah. So, and I think the eye should be You know, there's you can always make adjustments.
Oh, we love digital art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, I guess my take on fur. It's like, you know,
Nice.
it's little bits. It's just little bits, and like each, you know, it's each strand individually has a certain way it interacts with light and shadow, and then together as like sort of a mass on top of the animal, it acts a certain way, and so it's sort of up to you how much you want to indicate. And then, you know, there's also like patterning, like maybe this is like a tiger bunny and it's got like,
Yes.
you know, some like stripies,
I
and so you can do that. You can do that too, right? Like, you know, as long as you remember what direction the fur is going, you can sort of indicate in it whatever you want. And, you know, just sort of use these little quick strokes to make little patterns. Now this is
Nathan, I love this.
a tiger bunny.
Like tiger and bunny.
Yeah, you want to do a little hybrid animal, tiger bunny? You can. You're allowed to. No one can tell you not to. It's your
Yeah,
drawing.
we're not gonna stop you.
No.
You do you.
You do you.
Would you like another topic?
Sure, yeah, if people have more questions.
Well, because this one I thought was interesting and maybe a good segue into something you may have been getting to, possibly.
Okay.
But I didn't write it down, but I kind of remember what it said. It was about drawing animals that look expressive, like showing emotion and stuff.
Oh,
And they
okay.
said that they would look at like Disney for reference on that, but Disney has a lot of their designs with eyebrows, which, you know, animals don't technically have eyebrows
Right.
the same way that humans do to emote.
Right.
So how would you draw like an animal emoting?
That's great. That's a great
Yeah.
question. So yeah,
So it's like a stylistic thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a stylistic thing. So like, let's just, you know, let's just try some, you know?
Yeah.
Like let's go back to I didn't label any of my layers. Let's go back to this goat. Let's go back to this goat. So like, if we wanted to keep it like relatively realistic looking, but have it emote, like that's sort of the way Disney does it, is like they'll find like a bit on the animal to like basically make into a brow. And so like,
Yeah,
we want to
because
make
a lot of animals will have that ridge, but it's
yeah.
not like a muscled brow necessarily.
So yeah,
I don't look at a lot of animals' brows, but
you know, you sort of give it like a little bit of a now all of a sudden he's
yeah.
concerned. We can keep the goat pupils, or we can, you know, go even more like cartoony with it. God, I'm just gonna pull up Lion King, because like that's like a pretty solid example.
Yeah.
Of so yeah, like what they did was they like kept the sort of basic structure. Like this is wrong layer. This is a cat. You know, lions are cats, so you've got the like rib cage, torso, and like cats are real elastic and stretchy.
Bless you.
And you've got this like little cat shape. So like if this was just like a lion, it would just be like probably look more like like this without as much of a facial expression. But what they did was I think they made the eyes probably bigger than they would be otherwise. They made the pupils smaller, and they added this eyebrow like to make it look like it's part of the fur patterning.
Yeah.
And so like you can extrapolate from that.
Some animals do have like fur patterning that kind of looks like an eyebrow,
right,
like
dogs,
Shiba.
Yeah, Shibas.
Dogs have very expressive faces.
Dogs just have very expressive faces.
Yeah, I feel like dogs do have a bit of a brow that they can, move, and maybe, they're not expressing emotion the same way people's do maybe, but like that's there. And then, they'll have markings that kind of look like brows.
So, you have this sort of animal face shape, but you're giving it human characteristics. This is
compared to live action Lion King, where they try really hard to make the animals look super realistic and they express so little emotion visually. It's just a stylistic choice, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a scamp.
I don't know. But then, and you can go even further than that. Like, you can really go like very cartoony with your animals, and like just like give them big old like cartoon eyes, but like you're still using that like same structure, but like everything is like very simplified.
Yeah.
Farting
right onto Simba. Just born.
This is sort of like a Andy Stewart Awu comics.
Yeah.
Good comics. You should check those out if you don't already. But yeah, like you can, depending on your stylistic preference, you can go the Disney route and like really try and like render a human looking face. You can just give them like little cartoon faces.
Yeah.
But my thing that I like to do is draw like an animal. It's like a cat. And I still like don't always get the like location of the proportions right exactly. Like I think the knees should technically be higher up like that.
Yeah, you're doing it. You're doing it better than plenty. Well, I was just going to say that as a general rule for stylization and stuff, like that's the strength of knowing all of this technical stuff, like, how to draw like an actual animal and how to make that structure, is right. That once you know how to do it for realsies, you can just use that knowledge to do it in whatever style you want. And it'll only make your design stronger.
So like what I like to do, this is like just like a goof I like to do. Just to like do like a like an animal, give it like the animal, but then just like fully give it like people features.
Of course.
And that's fun. That's fun. That's just like a fun thing to do,
Not the nose. Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna do full human nose.
And then you just like can make it real expressive, like, oh, hello.
Oh my god, it's cats.
And then it becomes cats.
It's Jason Derulo.
Is this the thumbnail?
Yes, get that thumbnail in. King of content.
We have fun. We have fun on the program.
420.
It is 420. Wow.
Nice.
Nice. Oh, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about dinosaurs a little bit.
Please talk about dinosaurs.
So I've got a little...
I want to hear your lies, Nathan.
Got a little dinosaur shape. So, like, basically, and if there are any dino experts and I'm getting this wrong, I apologize. But, like, my understanding is there are basically two sort of big categories of dinosaurs. There's theropods, which are these, like, more bird-looking ones, the predators, and then there are sauropods, which are the, like, quadruped, like, ones.
Yeah.
And dinosaurs are cool because, like, we don't know what they look like. There aren't reference images of actual dinosaurs. There's, like, skeleton information, and then people have extrapolated. But, like, I love the idea of, because, you know, you've seen the stuff of, like, what, you know, animals would look like if we took just their skeletons and made them look like dinosaurs, which is just sort of these, like, skin tight muscle monsters. And so I love the idea of, like, a real sort of like fat, like a real, like, chonky dinosaur that's, like, you know, like way chonkier than we know. And then they've got, like, the feathers maybe. I don't know if we've decided that, like, T-Rex didn't have feathers for sure. Like, there was feathered T-Rex, and then people were like, actually not feathered T-Rex. But, like, it's just, you know, it just sort of goes to show that, like, you can have an understanding of the structure, but you can still make something that looks unique with your art. You know?
Oh, I like this one, Nathan.
Yeah, he's just like a friend. That's how he looks. Yeah. Who, me?
Oh.
Getting a little wingies.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a dinosaur lie. I think everything is a dinosaur lie because, I mean, the people who actually study it probably are... They're making educated guesses. This is an uneducated guess. But yeah. So I thought maybe we could do some, like, mash 'em ups now.
Yeah.
And, like, talk about making, you know, designing your own animals, because we have these sort of shapes and frameworks that we were talking about. So, like, what if I wanted to draw a Pegasus, for example?
Horse.
We've got that horse, so we can sort of remember.
Not remembering what a horse looks like.
It's got this. And again, like, the proportions don't always have to be perfect, but, like, we've got the ribs, this back leg, this pelvis zone, and then shoulders, shoulder to elbow to, like, wrist to toe, sort of looking. And it's and then I just erase it all. But, like, that, you know, it's
yeah.
It's like being bang, bing. It's like it's an extra one. There's an extra knobble in there.
It always throws me off.
There's an extra knobble when you draw a horse. That's what you got to remember. And then their hoof is just like this, and the hoof is a toe. It's like right at the end of their toe. And so like this, for this other leg, it's like gonna bend here, and then here, and then come back in like that.
Oh, God.
So like that's our sort of horse shape. And then they've got like the muscles, so like it sort of dips in, comes back up, and then again like knee, this thing, hoofy. And then we can talk about what we had discussed with wings, because horses do not have wings.
No.
Let's get this other leg in there. It's coming forward like that.
Just maybe it, Nathan. I might finally be knowing how to draw a horse.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You just gotta remember they're on their tippy toes.
Yeah,
like
I gotta remember everything you've taught me.
The knee is always higher up than I like to draw it, but it's more like it's a haunch. Got like a haunch going. Sort of like that. Yeah. Okay, here we go. And then remember we talked about wings, and so like for birds, the body is, it's hollow bones. The wings are still pretty big in comparison. So like if you wanted to make a horse that could convincingly fly, the wings have to be pretty big.
Just massive.
Just massive. So again, we can think about sort of in terms of horse, like would there be some sort of like musculature here for the wing? We've got like the wing sort of bone. It's got like this, and then I guess it would bend forward more like that. Sort of like this. And then maybe bend back more like that again. Sort of like a bat wing, but then we can, we can sort of make it however we want. This isn't a real animal,
yeah.
But like we're using sort of our understanding of how wings work. And then we've got the feathers that, again, they're like this, and they sort of follow the general shape of it. There's this like the little feathers here, and then the really big ones towards the end coming out like that. And like this is all one sort of shape like that. So now we've got like a little Pegasus. And so like you can use bits and pieces of like your understanding of how animals work and like chop and screw them to make your own designs. Like maybe this isn't just a Pegasus. Maybe it's like got like goat stuff.
Oh, heck.
Maybe it's got like some goat horns. Like who's to say?
Who is to
Who's
say?
to say? It's your drawing. You can.
We
make
are
it
the
whatever
gods
you
of
want.
our own domain.
Yeah, you can give it like one of these like sort of long. Give it like a lion's tail.
Oh, heck.
It's got like goes out like that, and then like has a little tuft at the end. We can go back to like that fur drawing bit. Instead of making it one smooth shape, we can indicate that this is like more fluffy by breaking up the lines with these shorter shapes. And you know, like that, you've got like a little sort of personalized OC animal.
Nathan, I love your OC.
Thank you. I name him. This is Benson.
Benson Tenson.
Benson Tenson. But he does have the eyes of that one animal, just like boop,
Yeah.
for seeing in the dark.
Yeah, because he is nocturnal.
Yeah. You know, you can play around with it.
Yeah.
Animals are fun. Animals are fun to draw. The more different animals you draw, the better you will get at drawing all animals, because it's just, you know, it's just practicing.
Yeah.
It's practicing drawing. And like sometimes drawing people can get tedious or discouraging because it's really easy to notice your mistakes, and sometimes it can be healthy to just like switch it up, draw some animals, be happy with what you drew, because you know, even if it doesn't look exactly like the animal you were trying to draw, it could still a case could still be made that it is it's some other animal that looks more like the one you drew.
Yeah.
And that's good. Boy, we've got a half hour left. What do people
30 minutes.
What are people saying about it?
One other question I caught was about the feet of the bird.
Okay.
That was one. And also on the topic of fur right now, how do you indicate fur going in a different direction? Like some dogs have a band of fur going in a different direction on their back, i.e. corgi, or the Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Ridgeback dog. Let's see. Fur going the other way. Oh, that's like a real... I see. That's tough. Corgi?
Do you mean like the corgi butt? Where it's like it's all sticky outy?
I kind of see what they mean. So it's like the folds. It's like when so like corgis, they've got like, you know, I'm just gonna use that same structure to indicate, and then they got real short legs, so it's just like beep beep beep, real short. And so nose comes out like that. Corgi eyes are sort of this shape.
Baby.
But so we've got our corgi, and so we've got sort of the fur is all going one direction, but then right here there's like a sort of a fold in the animal itself, in like the fat, or I guess it's, yeah, or I don't know. So it's like you can sort of indicate the sort of the direction, and then like you want to indicate that there's like a fold here. The fur sort of goes its own, it sort of creates a little bit of a shadow. I'm just sort of looking at a picture of a corgi right now, but like basically like with an animal with sort of short fur like a corgi, the fur sort of behaves like a skin almost. It's so like it's going to create these sort of shadow patterns based on the light source. And so you can sort of see that like there's like a ridge here, and then there's like some more fur over here where like this muscle happens that the like little foot's coming out of. And so you're basically, you know, you're just sort of shading, but using these little hatches.
Yeah.
You can sort of indicate that this isn't the best. This isn't my best drawing of the stream, to be sure, but
I think you're doing great.
Sort of the idea. And then like if you really want to like muss up the fur, say like someone pet it the wrong way, you can sort of just like indicate that like it's not going the right way with some little lines going up like that. You know, it's as yeah, someone really like blow dried this dog's hair going.
Yeah, it's clean.
Going the wrong day. Yeah, it's like it's all going wrong. But yeah, just like little lines go in whatever direction you think makes sense.
Yeah.
Got sort of these shaped eyes.
Yeah. I guess when it's like you said, since especially with short fur, it is just kind of like a second skin.
Yeah.
Like it'll just be following the shapes like of those rolls. If you just think of it as a surface.
Yeah, think of it as a surface.
And you just have the hatching follow that surface.
Bird feet. Let's look at bird feet.
Let's look at bird feet.
Let's go back to the old website that we were using. Birds include skeletons. Go drawing. Oh, beautiful bird. So this is an example of like what the bird's feet are doing while it's flying, which is like
they're so folded up.
Like real folded up in there. So got sort of this bird shape. Not entirely right, but close enough. And then so like when it's flying, it's just the little feets and like the whole thing. I think if you could see inside like the plumage where the feet are all curled up, it would sort of look like this. You'd see like the leg, and then it would sort of, because birds, like, I think they do, it's similar to like the back leg on like a cat or dog, where it's like knee, ankle, foot, but the bird's body is like here on it, so all you're seeing is usually like this bit. And like that's sort of a, but yeah, like that's a bird, right? That's sort of what a bird looks like.
Yeah.
So it's that same idea. It's you're basically like they bend backwards because like all you're seeing is this sort of ankle bit. Like they do have knees, they're just like up inside them, and so you don't ever really see that. We can try and find some more examples. It's not a great example. Okay, here we go.
Pics.
So this is one of them bigger birds.
Ooh.
One of them big birds that you got. So like, ooh, I love that. I love that shape. It just sort of goes like bamp. Like that, and then neck comes all the way back and around. Head, beak, and then it looks like it just goes like straight down. So like we've got these sort of like, oftentimes they've got these like big sort of tufts right where you see them come out of the body, and then it looks like it's just going straight down, and then you can sort of see right there is like the little ankle joint. So it's going straight, but like it would bend this way if it were to bend. And then you can't see the feet, so I'm just gonna, again, like birds are like dinosaurs. They're like, or dinosaurs are like birds. They're these, they've got these sort of typically like some sort of claw thing here. And so, and then if you were to follow this up, eventually there would be like a knee bone that I don't even know how it would go, but it's like something sort of like this, and they're like turned this way, like the structure of it. It's like but yeah, you're like sort of seeing just sort of this bit, this sort of ankle joint, and then this.
I don't think that much about bird skeletons. It's so
I wonder if we can find like a real good one of like just the feet.
I just want to look at a bird skeleton now.
Parrot, because parrot feet are different in that like most birds, or a lot of birds, they have the 3 in front, one in back. Parrots have 2 in front, 2 in back. Like that. That's just like something about them to know. This looks like, and they usually have some sort of plumage on part of it, and then part of it is just like exposed, like gross bird skin. Ooh, okay. Here we go. So this is a vulture. Oh yeah, man. Like, you ever see those pictures of like when people lift up the owl
I hate
feathers
that.
and they're just legs? Like that's what birds, like
birds have so much more legs than I think they do.
It's a lot of
it's
it
like
is
that
just
video where someone had like baby owls and they were taping the baby owls and they look like aliens.
Yeah.
So, hate that.
So yeah, like it's, you've got this sort of bird shape, which is just this sort of like gourd, and then like triangle, and then head. That's sort of your bird shape. And then again, we talked about wings a little bit, so we can, they're doing this, so we can extrapolate that like shoulder, it's sort of going like that, probably, if you were to see the skeleton. Doing this to make these sort of shapes. And then the legs are, we're just seeing the very bottom bits of them coming out. They're just going like toe, toe, toe. It's just, you learn, I learn just on this stream, just like, you're gonna learn something anytime you take the time to do some like studies.
I feel like if you want to get real good at drawing some birds, you're gonna have to look at some bird skeletons, because I can't parse what this bird is shaped like. I'm guessing just by looking at it.
I'm guessing it's like if we were to redline it, like.
Yeah, because I was just Googling bird skeletons and I'm like, God, they are all so wonky looking. Goodness.
I think I put the shoulders way too far over. It'd be like, yes, rib cage. This is like my best guess.
Yeah.
And like pelvis, and then knee, ankle, something like that. And so like all of this just gets covered in feather. and that's for our benefit.
Yeah. So we don't have to look at their horrid legs.
Yeah.
Thank you,
But that's
God.
fun. Like now that makes me want to draw like another, so like
Yeah.
another like hybrid animal. So like say we
Ooh.
do like our little like bunny friend again.
Oh, no.
Do like our bunny face. Little you know, just got these like dark eyes.
I will inject that I used to go to the Natural History Museum and do a lot of just random studies of whatever I liked. And
Yeah. That's
I guess it's not really an option now, but going to museums and such and doing
yeah.
studies is a good way to get some good study reference material in.
As a
Because especially if
little
they have a big selection, they're going to have like, a lot of different species you can look at, and skeletons, which are especially for birds, I guess.
yeah.
Ah.
As a little kid, I would always like go bring a sketchbook to like the museum or
Yeah.
the zoo, and
Once it's safe to, we should go do studies at the Natural History
I would
Museum.
love to. The New York
Oh
National
my
History.
God, let's go.
Let's go to I want to go everywhere.
Yeah, I haven't done that since I was in college, I think, but it's something I really liked to do. I would usually just draw torsos in the Greek statue section, but their animal section, or wait, I'm thinking at the Met, but when I'd go to the museum, like the
Sure.
Natural History Museum, their bird section is really good.
Yeah. So like, you know,
Ethan, this is great. I like it actually. It scared me for a second, but I decided I am actually really into it.
so like that's again, you can mix and match,
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah.
Try and make yourself laugh with your
I like this. I think it works.
yeah.
It looks right.
Reminds me, yeah. It reminds me of that animal mashups episode we did with Katie Marovich, where Jacob just like shat on camels after Katie said they were her favorite.
Jacob's always shitting on something. What else is new?
So good. Got like 13 minutes left. Any other?
Yeah. What else you got,
any other
chat?
hot topic? Any questions?
Yeah.
I hope like me just I don't know, like a lot of my answer is just well, let me try it. Let me try and see if I can figure it out, cuz I don't just like know. And maybe that's helpful to just be able to know that like a lot of times there isn't just like a rule and you have to look it up and you have to practice, because it shows that like you can get there if you do more practicing. You'll just like have these sort of shorthands in your brain, these way of thinking about approaching drawing animals, because like, oh, I've drawn a bunny before, it sort of looks like this. Like even over the course of the stream, I feel like I got better at drawing a bunny's head.
Yeah.
Like you're just the human mind is an incredible thing, and like if you decide that like you want to understand how something works or looks, like, you look at it for a while, your brain will be like, oh, okay, I see what you're getting at. And I definitely recommend, if you haven't watched last month's stream where Jacob talks about practicing, like effective practicing methods, like you can apply all of that and just but to drawing animals too, which
I
is
still need to watch last month's stream.
it's really helpful. And
I
just
didn't realize you did a section breaking down me and Julia's style.
oh yeah, we did, because people
I
want.
didn't know
We
that. I
opened it
missed
up.
that
We were
part.
like, what are some artist styles you want to see us draw? And they were like, Karina and Julia. guess it figures people who have opted to pay us money to keep making stuff are fans of our styles of drawing.
Okay. I'm gonna pick out some things from the chat. We got 10 minutes. You do cover what you want. We got over rendering faces. We got horns and antlers and quadruped shoulders. Those are your topics.
So we sort of talked about the quadruped shoulders.
Yeah.
So like it you know, we can take a look back at sort of the go away. Go away. I know I'm screen sharing.
Technology.
Okay. This could be very careful. Not get it mad. So yeah, they're sort of like on the bottom. They're like here. This is like this sort of zone. But then they're also at the top, like they're pretty, the musculature.
Yeah. Now I want to look at a skeleton because
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Because like especially with cats, you can see when they get like low, you can really see their shoulders sort of popping up. There's a great shot in the Disney's The Jungle Book. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, because their shoulder joint is like really in the front, almost like before the base of the neck, but the blades wrap all the way around the rib cage, like to the spine. I never thought about that.
Like, look at that. That's just, and that's an example of like taking an animal and really giving it some like expressive features. Like they just gave it a chin. Like no tiger has that. They like, this is like
Chad Jungle Book tiger.
This is tiger. Like if you just took this part of the face and ignored that, like this is basically what like a tiger looks like, you know? Like this is basically the shape of a tiger's head. And they were like, Brr. You can do that. You can do it, works. It like, I love that. But yeah, like you can see the shoulders like womp womp. Like really, like one side goes down, like the whole body dips, and then this is like the load bearing one.
Wow. Man. I never really thought about that with the shoulders. Gosh.
Yeah, man. Tigers are cool.
I like tigers.
Like you look at the way animals move and like the stuff they do, it's so much more efficient than what people are doing at any given time. It's like they're so much stronger. Like they're just every day they're moving. They're just like, man, I love it. Like I just spend a stream redlining Disney animal designs because, and like again, you've got this like, you can tell it's like it's a masterclass in like all the stuff we've been talking about on stream. You've got this like indication like, yeah, this fur is very short, so you get this like nice smooth lines for it, but like you do see the way the patterning shifts and moves. It like it really acts like skin here, and then here you have like a little bit more tufty, and you can see the lines get shorter and more expressive to indicate that like, this is like the fluffy part. And you can even see like the like spine, like the line.
Yeah, like this is such a stylized drawing of a tiger, but you can tell there's so much like foundational knowledge.
Yeah. Like they clearly spent weeks just like doing life studies of real ass tigers before they came up with this design. They were like, okay, what
how
can
you
we do?
heckin' do
We
it.
can make the nose bigger. We can make
Give it a whole chin.
Give it a whole I love that. Oh God. Man. That owns. It's just like it's like so satisfying to look at like good art and just, you know, aspire to be there, but like also understand their process and be like, okay, yeah, like this is someone who spent a lot of time learning and studying and understanding animal anatomy, and then they also spent a lot of time learning and understanding like facial expressions and like abstracting emotions and character design. Yeah, it's just like this is a bad guy. This like smile, furrowed brows. Furrowed brows smile is bad guy. Furrowed brows frown, that could be like, you know, that could be a stern parent, that could be a determined. But like furrowed brows and like crooked smile, like that's a villain. Oh, I love that. That makes me happy. I'm glad we talked about that, because it's just like yeah, like look at classic Disney cartoons. Look at any style you're trying to emulate. Like they're gonna have all of the stuff. Like it's so much craft and practice goes into those designs, and like, yeah, you know, you can learn a lot from just like redlining and studying that. And then the follow-up step, which I'm not going to do because we're almost out of time, but like again, as Jacob talked about, would be to like redline the Shere Khan and then try and draw your own afterwards. Like, you know, try I said I wasn't going to do it, but like
there he goes.
There I go. It's like that. You know, he's gonna be a little different, but like
he's different.
He's different. I made it more of like a horse shaped. It's like, yeah, it's like that.
Chin.
But yeah, like, you know, you get the whole sense of movement from that. Real thick arms on this guy. Anyway, like you just draw animals. Look at reference. Look at their skeletons.
Yeah, study it.
And you know, hopefully some of like the shortcuts and like ways of thinking about how the animals' bodies are put together will help guide it and make it less obtuse of a process. But yeah, think about function, like when looking at how things are. I'm just gonna put up the cat and dog again because it's like
they're very good.
You know, just think about like you've seen cats and dogs move. You can sort of understand that. And, you know, if you understand that, you can sort of figure out how they're shaped, why they're shaped the way they're shaped, and then go from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's gonna do it.
Wow.
For the
lesson.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you all so much for supporting us on Patreon. And I hope that you continue practicing drawing animals, because it's fun, and it's just like it opens up a whole different sort of part of the drawing experience if you can, you know, because again, like drawing the human figure is very important to your development as an artist. Like it's something you can always get better at. There's always going to be stuff you notice about your work that needs to be improved, because we're just constantly looking at people in media, in real life.
Yeah.
But drawing animals is just like, I don't know, it's such a relaxing, freeing experience because
And
like,
I'd argue
animals...
that depending on your intent, it's equally important.
True. So yeah, I
Yay.
recommend you work drawing animals into your practicing rotation.
I'm gonna learn how to draw a horse now, for real this time.
I think you can do it.
I think after this, I have a better grasp.
You just gotta remember they're on their tippy toes.
I gotta remember that. It gets me every time.
It's one
but
extra...
Seeing you do it helped.
Yeah, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Thank you again, everyone who supports us on Patreon, and if you're watching the VOD later, just thanks for checking us out, and you know, consider supporting us on Patreon because it lets us keep making the show, and we love doing these fun extra bits, and it's just it's real heartening to see so many people interested in learning about this stuff, and I hope that my sort of bumbling through was at all helpful.
It was.
Well, good. I'm glad, and thank you, Karina, for hanging out as well.
Hell yeah, anytime.
That's it. Have a good weekend, everybody. We are sorry.
Bye.
Bye.